Another subject I want to talk about is food, and how food and anything you do can reinforce or relinquish the ego. You have to be mindful of every single thing you're doing, because what you're doing at the exact moment is you are going with the ego or not with the ego. You don't have in between, that does not exist. So, for example, food is one of the things that reinforces the ego so strongly, and something I noticed when I overeat or when I eat carbs and all the things I like, sugar, potatoes, rice, things that have like an element of sweetness or that's not healthy, so that you run away from the truth, you escape it. It reinforces the ego. The ego, actually, what it does when I eat those things is it starts to recreate the sexual imaginations in my head. It doesn't create them as directly, but it starts. You know, what the ego does is that it just welcomes you to something in an indirect way, in a very smooth way, to make you sway. For example, it wants sex, right? It gets triggered by food, and sexuality gets aroused by food and reinforced. What it does that, for example, it creates the imagination in your head of having fun with some person. I feel like, for example, just going to meet that person, or oh, put more makeup, oh, dress more sexy, oh, show more skin, in a very, very subtle way. And you sometimes, when you're at pure ego and you're totally identified with your ego, you're not gonna see that. You're gonna ignore it, or you're gonna think it's a normal thing, or you're gonna think it's you. And it's gonna bring up the past. Oh, you used to be a very horrible person. What makes you think you're gonna change? Don't lie to yourself too much. Then it keeps bringing and bringing imaginations of things you did in the past, so that you give up on the path. But that's also another technique of the ego. So you should never just sit down and do whatever the ego tells you. Always be awake. Always focus. Always open your eyes. Always be present. Don't just do things like that. Because if you do, it's going to grab you out of nowhere and it's going to make you do stuff that are not you and that are against you. And also, when I eat food, it's not just the sexual side that is arising again, it's also anger. It wants to fight, to create scenes in my head. It wants to imagine perverted guys coming and creating scenes, and then it fights in with its own self, and I'm just sitting in the couch or something. And then if I make a mistake of believing that imagination, it becomes a reality. What was an illusion becomes a reality, and it happened. Last time I was followed by a pervert because it was imagination in my head, and I believed it by mistake. I did not know that I was supposed to let go, but it's good to make mistakes. Now I know when it wants to use anger, and it creates imagination that wants me to believe it, so then they become reality in my life, and then it could use anger against you, because anger is never a good thing. It's always bad. Yeah, that's it. Summing up. So have a good day.